Hey guys, welcome to the G.E.M, the Grand Enterprises Movement. I am super duper excited, y'all. You know, our mission is to motivate, to energize, to uplift, to encourage, and of course, to inspire one another each and every single day. So listen, y'all, today I got the one and only Viola Lewis. Yes, she's in the building, y'all. Yes, from Sentimentally Speaking, the podcast is out on all social media platforms, YouTube, Twitch, podcasts, Podbeam, all of those, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, tune in, y'all, and check her out. But we're going to get into this right now. So welcome, 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 Viola. I am so excited that you are here today. As you can tell, I'm literally on the edge of my seat because I know this is about to be real good.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be one of your chosen jewels on the G.E.M. So I am really looking forward to this.
Yes. So listen, Viola and I have known each other for over 20 years because we met in high school and like literally just a cool person. We just hit it off. I don't even know how we met, Viola. Like, I think we had a class together or something. But, you know, I'm a friendly person and so are you. So, you know, two good-natured and friendly people, like, once y'all click, y'all just click, right?
That's true.
Yeah, so I mean, yep. So we met in high school and just have known each other throughout and ever since, and just been mad cool. Like it's always love. It's always love. So I appreciate that. Thank you for pulling up to the G.E.M. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Yes, I'm super duper excited. Your podcast has literally been like off the chain, girl. Like I absolutely love it. Sentimentally Speaking, y'all, is the name of the podcast. She talks about everything from sex to relationship to like healthy orgasms to this to that, y'all. And we're going to get into that today because it's raw and edgy. And yeah, so tell them because I'm gonna talk it all up, but I want you to tell them a little bit about Sentimentally Speaking.
Well, first of all, I appreciate all the hype, all the love. Thank you so much. So, Sentimentally Speaking, Tammy, I can't even tell you when I drum up so many ideas. So I create goals for myself all the time. Just like, what can I do next? What can I do differently? Mm-hmm. So I was just like, I like to talk. I'm very opinionated, and it just seemed so natural that I would do something like podcast. I've always wanted to be a talk show host.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna hold you.
Nice.
I was on the Newlywed Game, and I
really?
I love Sherry Shepherd role.
What?
And I was like, I could do this shit. I literally could do this. So I was like, you know what? Let me get in front of a camera, let my face be seen, let my voice be heard. And one day I was like, how am I going to name this? So, you know, names are important, right? When you think of stuff, and I was like, what describes me? And I was like I said, I'm opinionated. I love hearts. I love lips. I love red.
Yes. And Valentine's Day.
And Valentine's Day, yes. So fitting, right? So I was just like, all right, this is my sentiments. And I just was like lips. And I was like, all right, Sentimentally Speaking, let's do it. So that's really how the title came about. And then it was really my daughter. Shout out to my baby girl. She's like, Mom, do it. She was like, we always come to you for advice, for input, for suggestions. She was like, I think you got a lot of great things to share. She's like, just do it. And before I know, she had blasted me to like all her Instagram people. And I was getting all these friend requests and I couldn't go back.
You can't go back after that. She put you on blast, honey.
She damn sure did. Pushed me to the front of the stage and was like, perform, child.
Dang. So then you just jump right into it, or like, what was your preparation like?
I didn't have any See, I'm a guy. What I admire about you, right? I pay attention to people who do what I do.
Yes.
And you're the G.E.M. I think of the back community. I think about my girls.
Yes. Shout out to the back community. He's coming on next month for Father's Day.
Dope.
Yes.
Super dope. And that's I think about Tanisha conversation with Mrs. West.
Yeah, I gotta know. She gotta bring her own too.
Yes. I said they put so much preparation into theirs. Like I didn't. I just fly by the night with it. I was like, oh, this is what I need for you too. Okay. Let me design a screen, a backdrop. Okay.
What?
I made some little cue cards and I was like, hey, I want you. Come on, let's talk about this. And I allow my guests, you're right. So my topics are love, life, sex, and relationships. Yes. And I allow my guests to pick a topic and then I formulate questions and then allow the conversation to flow from there.
Nice, nice. Let me tell you, so I've been watching you for a while because I'm like, oh my goodness, Viola's on. She got a podcast. And, I love to support other people, especially people that I know and love. Like, I'll be like, you know what? I'm 100% supportive. So I was watching and I was like, oh my gosh, like, that's so cool. And like you said, we like to talk. We talkers. So I was like, oh man, like that's so cool. And so Tyrell, Back Community, shout out to the Back Community, he had brought me onto his podcast. And I like the way that felt. I was like, you know what? I like that. And then I watched y'all. I watched y'all for about a year. Like, from when you started up until now. And same thing with him. I've been watching for a minute. And I was like, I could probably get into that. I was like, but I had to think about what I wanted to talk about, who that want to interview people. So, I get it. Like sometimes you're prepared, but then sometimes you're not because it's like you just flowing. You just flowing. And literally, like, I would not be able to tell that you were not prepared in the beginning, honey. Like you had that thing on point.
Thank you so much. It's like I said, my daughter just threw me on Front Street, the front of the stage, and was like, perform. And it was just like, okay, I just need a camera and I need my personality, and we gonna do this.
And that you got. That
yes,
you got.
Thank you. Well, that's how I came across you.
Really?
I saw Tyrell promoting. I was like, Tammy. Like
I know.
Said, it was always love, Tammy.
Yes.
I can't think of a lot of people from high school where we just clicked. Like I think of Moet Slaughter. I don't
care shout out to Moet.
That's my fucking girl. Like
yes, Moet. So, oh my gosh, I love Moet. Yes.
There's other people I could walk past in the grocery store and be like,
yes. Girl, yes, because it's like, you vibe with certain people because they just got good energy, straight up good energy. And honestly, you always been like, to me, I don't know about everybody else. To me, you always just been so loving. So like it made sense to see the hearts and sentiments and all of that on your podcast. Because I was like, that is so her. That is so Viola. Like she is that girl, like got a lot of love to give. And keep doing that because honestly, that's your thing. That's your thing.
Thank you.
Really is. It really is. And I love, like you said, I like seeing everybody doing their thing and we doing it with different, niches. You know what I mean? So it works. It works.
Yes.
And supporting each other. You know what I mean? Like I saw that you was on Tanisha's Conversations with Mrs. West. Shout out to her. I saw you was on her podcast. And then definitely on Tyrell's, of course, Back Community. Yeah. And I was like, yo, like that's so dope that we support each other. Like, yeah, that's how
it's room for all of us.
That's right. That's right. And everybody's growing.
Yes, we all have our pockets of what we do, our niches and how we do it. Yes. And I think it's fine. What I appreciate about you, right? That encouragement you just gave, that positive feedback, that reassurance. Because I'll tell you quick, I'm a person that I could talk myself out of turning in a winning lottery ticket. Like when people wouldn't believe it because I've accomplished so much,
right?
I've accumulated so much, I've done so much, and who would think that me, Viola, Lewis from school or Viola Lipscomb today is like one of those people who is a self-doubter, but I am. Wow. And I often question myself, am I doing the right thing? Am I going about it the right way? Does this sound okay? And I thank you.
Listen, I'm going to tell you honestly, keep going. I'm all the way out of town. I'm in the DMV. So, it ain't like I'm right there and I could see your every move. You know what I mean? So, like watching from a distance, like, I'm feeling your energy. Keep it going. Keep it going. Honestly, for real, straight up. But listen, so let's get into these conversations, honey, because I'm like, oh, that's good. But one in particular, you had a young lady on, and you guys were talking about mental health in the Black community. And now I forget one of your good girlfriends, and it was such a good conversation. Like you guys were just hitting on all the pointers about, how we sometimes don't even want to go to counseling for our stuff. Like you said, for that self-doubt, that negative talk, whatever it is, like getting to the root of sometimes what's brewing up inside of us that makes us feel, doubtful or hinders us sometimes to spring forward to the things that we want to accomplish. So speak about, what inspired you to bring her on to, the show and to talk about mental health.
So that's one of my closest friends. Like we're so close that she's more than a sister. I mean, she's more than a friend, not quite a biological sister, but I coined the term frister, Frister, as a combination between the two words because that's my girl. Like if I had a big sister, it would be Shay and another one of my friends. And I said I wanted her on the show, but she's camera shy and she hesitated for a long while. You know, she sat back and observed the show, was a very big supporter, would text me almost after every show and give me amazing feedback. And I said, when you're ready, I'm here. And it was one topic I identified her and another lady that I knew would be great for it. And then she was like, I don't think that's the one I want to talk about. I said, okay, when you figure it out, you let me know. My platform is always open for you. So she came to me. She said, you know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about self-care and self-love. Yes. Perfect. Let's do it. Yes. So she had, like she said on the podcast, that I had inspired her journey, which made me feel good. Right. Trauma was the reason why I went. I knew I needed somebody to talk through these feelings and these thoughts because I just like that, life had hit me and I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to feel. Everything is going on in my mind. And I went in 2015 and it's been the best decision that I ever made. Yeah. And I was one of those people who personalized a lot of things, Tammy. Oh, you know what I'm saying? I feel you. Yes. I was gonna say, like, you know how you be walking down the street and maybe somebody is looking at you and you're like, what are you staring at? Like, why they looking? Or, you know, somebody's talking and then your name come up, well, why y'all talking about me behind my back? Like, I would internalize it. And now I don't even care. Like maybe they're just staring off into space. Maybe they like the way I look and don't want to say anything because I'm wearing this frown and I don't even realize it, you know? And now it's just like, oh, what y'all talking about? Y'all talking about me? Oh, what about what? Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I did do that. Or no, that's not true. Let me correct it. So I just handle people, places, and things so much differently after therapy.
Wow. And you talked about the self-care piece, you know, that was just about, you know, taking time out for you. You know, we're moms, you know, I'm not a wife anymore, but I will be a wife again soon. I'm claiming it. Right. and just, you know, just being a family member. I'm the oldest of my siblings. So I know, like, if you're not constantly reminding yourself to take time out for you, you can burn out quickly. Yeah. You can, because life will hit you in places where you ain't never think it would hit you. You know what I mean?
Therapy is a form of self-care. It is. That's literally it really what the topic was about.
Yep. Yep. So yes, shout out to Shay, because that was an excellent segment. I mean, you had so many guests on. I love the one when you had like the gentleman on not too long ago. Y'all were talking about so y'all was talking about giving head and everything else. I said, oh no, what in the world? Yes. What if a girl don't want to give you head? I said, Mark got offended. I said, Mark like But that was a great conversation. I mean, y'all talked about a lot of stuff, but it was about, you know, if a woman didn't want to perform different sexual acts and just, you know, how important is sex and relationships and things like that. And I mean, everybody, it was like three of them. It was Mark. I don't know the other two gentlemen that were there, but it was funny because the conversation was so bold and each of them had different perspective, which was, I mean, it was really cool. So talk about that segment and like, you know, what made you like go in about from that male perspective like that?
Yeah. So here it goes. So the reason why, all right. So it was my cousin Mark, my cousin Charles, and my cousin Brandon. Right. And right now I'm limited to people I know because I was filming out of my house. Right. So I gotta get like
you gotta be careful. Studio. But you gotta be careful. Yeah, because I was thinking out my house because I was like, let me save on the studio bill, but it's okay. It's the studio. No.
Right. But I'm thinking like you, like I want to open it up to more people. So I was limited to my guests because I'm very private and restricted when it comes to my castle. So I was like, I need these three gentlemen, but I knew they all had different personalities. I knew they all had different perspectives and views. And I said, you know what? If we're going to touch on this topic, I don't think they wanted to touch on the topic. They assumed the topic was going to be about something else.
What did you tell the topic was going to be when you asked them to be on the show? Because girl, they look caught off guard and they answered accordingly. So,
because they riders. So let me tell you.
That's right.
Okay. Because these cousin Charles knew what it was because he read the text. Okay. So prior to that segment, I had the ladies on. And I
Yes.
asked them certain questions about pleasure
Yes.
and relationships and love. And then I
Mhm.
said, well, it's only fitting to have the males come on and give their perspective because I don't ever want to be lopsided, you know?
That's right. That's right.
So I sent them a text telling them exactly what I wanted to do. And I said, if anybody's uncomfortable, here's an alternative topic that we could talk about. They must have glossed over that. So when they got there, I was like, this is what we're talking about. They're like, oh. But they rolled with it. And it was super good. And I just
It
feel
was.
like for the young lady who may be a teenager who has that boy that she likes and she encounters him, what she could expect, what the mind
Mhm.
of a man, just the
Right.
mindset of a man. And
Mhm.
I feel like sex is an important topic that too many people
It
shy
really
away
is.
from.
It really
I
is.
love sex. I
I
enjoy
know
sex.
that's right.
I
We
really
all
do.
do.
And I just feel like, why are we shying away from? But I know it makes a lot of people
People don't. If
uncomfortable.
people don't want to have that conversation, it's so weird. Mark was all politically correct, and then
Dead ass.
cousin Charles was. He was like, well, he was on both sides. He was playing
Mhm.
both sides. Like, I get you, Mark, but I'm also over here too. Like,
Yeah.
it was so cool. Such a cool
Thank you.
segment. Oh my god. And then the ladies, so the ladies seemed like they were more prepared. Like, yeah, ask me because I'm ready.
They loved it. They loved it. They loved it. And what I
Well,
loved about the ladies is they were really, they made it fun. You know what I'm
right,
saying? They took the stigma away from it. They took the discomfort out of it.
right.
And it was almost like a literally a game, an honest game where it's like,
Yeah.
shoot your opinion out there and we gonna roll with it.
Mhm.
And they were honest. Like, men have desires too. And a
Mhm.
lot of times they will suppress it because society gives them the impression that certain acts of pleasure are wrong
Right,
or
right,
taboo. And I
right,
just wanted to know, if you had a man that had desires, how would you go about that? And then
right,
my one friend is like, she always, I'll never forget, if he like it, I love it. You know,
right.
somebody was like, I don't want to talk about it first. And then one of the questions, I was like, a hard no. So it's even good
Yes,
to hear other people's
absolutely.
perspectives and their reasoning behind it. So
Yes, I
yeah.
absolutely love that. I was like, you know what? That is so cool because, you know, I don't know. What do you think is holding people back the most when it comes to having conversations about healthy sexual relationships and sensuality? You know what I mean? Because April Mason talks about it all the time about being a sensual woman and having that sensuality, like being able to peek through. Like, why do people feel like it's I don't know. I know Mark has an answer that was like from slavery.
Yeah. But to his point, right?
Right.
We are over sexualized. We are
Yeah.
over sexualized.
Mhm.
We're taught from a young, take that lipstick off, take
Right.
those shoes off, stop being grown. No, you ain't
Mm.
got no boyfriend. That's just your friend. But
Mm.
really, the 5-year-old girl who gets to experience butterflies from the little boy in her classroom who decides to share his crayons, who thinks about her on her birthday and draws a picture, will turn into that 15-year-old girl who will think back like, no, somebody made me feel good. You're making me feel
Yes.
bad. I don't want that. Who then turns into the 25-year-old girl who's like not settling because she knows what she wants because she felt it in
Wow.
kindergarten. And I just think we have to allow ourselves to start with love and healthy interaction between the two genders, male and
Right.
female specifically. I know there's other identities out there, but I'm specifically talking about the relationship between males and females.
Right.
And then when they get older and they begin to explore sex,
Mhm.
what does that healthy interaction look like? Are you comfortable with it? Is he comfortable with it? What are your barriers? What are your hard no's? And I
Mhm.
just think a lot of people are uncomfortable with it because it's not discussed enough at home. I
Right.
didn't discuss it with my children. I was super uncomfortable discussing
Yeah.
sex with my daughter because
I
I
know.
felt like it would in some way encourage her to want to do it.
Right. Right.
But with my sons at the dinner table, so what y'all doing? How y'all doing it? Y'all got a little girl? What's going on? Are you doing it? Like, for some reason, I
Yeah.
just developed into this mom who's, I'm going to have this conversation with my child here in a safe space because I
Mhm.
don't want them going to get this information from somebody else. And that comes with age. But I
Right.
think a lot of people, we're not having the conversations enough in the household. And then a lot of people see it as a private act. Like, I don't need to discuss my private business
Right.
with the public, but you can talk about sex and still never reveal your private thoughts, wishes,
Exactly.
and desires. That's
Exactly.
my opinion. Those are
No,
my
that's
sentiments.
no, you know what? That's exactly right. Like, I remember with my oldest daughter, I did not really want to encourage her to be sexual in any way. I just like, there's gonna come a time when you're gonna feel X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? But I did, and I had, a little bit more in-depth conversations about different things to expect. But I knew that her experience was going to be her own, but I didn't want to shy away from it and not have no conversation. But I made it like sex ed, so it was real politically correct, so to speak. I didn't want to get raw and things like that. And with my second oldest, like my second daughter, it was like now I have like more, like I'm a little bit more into having those type of conversations. But it's different with her because she likes girls. So it's not like a heterosexual relationship, but I think it's, just the conversation overall about safety, protection, promiscuity, and, refraining from, having multiple partners, just different things that I have those conversations there. And now my older daughter, we have certain conversations just about continuing to be healthy, even though she's been with the same partner since forever, just like having healthier conversations and healthier ways to bring it up without making them feel bad or shy. And with my boys, I'm like, look, they only 11, 7, and 4. It was like I'm like, parents do, things to make each other feel nice, like give me a hug, a kiss on the cheek, like just displays of affection so that they don't feel shy to express themselves, in a healthy way. So, the journey continues. So I get it.
Right.
And
so I got a funny story about sex and children being exposed, right? So when you said, not having a lot of partners, and I think even it's important to remind boys that you could be selective. You don't need to be going out here putting your thing everywhere. And it's funny because me and their father would have debates. He has a different perspective than I. Man, do what you want, do. And I'm like, no, you don't have to. But we were, when my son's father and I were living together. My youngest was probably like 3. Mm-hmm. And we were having adult fun, right? Our bedroom door was closed. We thought we were minding our own adult business. And I remember leaving the room to go get in the shower. And my 3-year-old was like, he goes in the room after me. He's like, Daddy, what you and Mommy was doing? He was like, what was that noise? He was like, what did he say? Y'all was doing nasty stuff. And I fell out in that room. But in his mind, he just was like, something going on behind that door. Goodness. But how do you explain to a 3-year-old what's going on? You really can't. You know what I'm saying? Cannot. But just even, you got to explain, like, adults, like you said, adults do things to make each other feel that. It's the words we got to use. Right. Plant the seeds, water it, and then they'll be blossoming and making their own decisions as they get older.
So did that have an effect on him when he got older? Like, did he remember it at all?
No, he doesn't remember. He does not remember the story. He does not.
Oh my goodness. Because, I find that like childhood trauma of like hearing parents and their girl, that was traumatic for me. I was like, oh, heck no, what is going on up in that room? I hear people making noises and I'm thinking somebody getting hurt. Right? Oh my gosh, I asked my mama now. I said, what is happening over there?
Right. Thank God.
And they couldn't explain it because there's 2 women in the room. My mother's a lesbian. So it was a little bit more traumatic. And so I was like, this is different. They didn't explain. They said, oh, we're talking or whatever. It was something, but it wasn't about sex, right? Yeah. So they kind of kept it clean in a sense. Mm-hmm. And so as I got older and I remember, I would say perversion that we were exposed to in a sense. I was just like, I wanted to make sure like my kids, you can't control all of those types of situations, right? But I wanted to make sure that I at least had a good explanation or tried. You know what I mean? Like tried to have a good, something that I didn't want them to not know that adults can have fun in a healthy way, but they haven't said anything. So you know what I mean? But I remember, that happening to me growing up and I was like, Mom, what is going on up in there? And the answer was not a good, it wasn't enough to keep my interest and curiosity. So, it is what it is. But so talking about, childhood and growing up, could you said you saw yourself being a talk show host eventually, but what have you been doing as a career since then?
So I've been in the human services field for since as long as I've had a job, mainly office type settings. That's
Okay.
really where I thrive. So school pounded into me. My grandmother pounded into us. Get your education, get your
That's
education.
right.
So not going to school wasn't an option for me. So right after
Mm-hmm.
high school, I went to college, got my bachelor's, and then I took a couple years off, and then I got my master's. And I've been working in local government for probably like 17 years now, 17 and a half years.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah, so I started off with at the county level. Now I'm at the state level, and my goal is to eventually get to the federal level and finish out my career. Whatever that may be, I do not hold myself hostage at a job.
Yes.
I've never had a job that I loved, so I'm constantly exploring and trying to find that thing that brings me ultimate comfort, joy, and I enjoy doing. So that's what I've been doing. In the meantime, I just fill my time with things that I love. I write poetry. I write books. I love my romance novels.
We gotta talk about the books.
Yes. And then after the romance novels, that's when I picked up the podcast. But I love planning parties and events, and I'm now brainstorming this other segment of entrepreneurship that I really want to explore. I'm a property owner, so you put me on to lease an agent and what that may look like.
Girl,
so,
that's where that bag is at.
Yeah, so I'm like, I can do more. I can do more.
Yes.
I can make myself.
That's right. That's right. And what do you feel? So what do you feel your purpose is? Do you feel like you know what your purpose is yet? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. I hear the little static. It's good now. What do I feel my purpose is? Tammy, I spend a lot of days wondering what my purpose is.
Me too, girl. That's why I do so much.
Yeah. And they say that, the purpose of life is to find your gift and to give it away. And I heard you and Simone, such a beautiful woman, talking about she is talking about helping people. And who doesn't like helping people, right?
Right.
And ultimately, I too enjoy helping people, whether it's planning an event, whether it's organizing their budget, their finances. I do enjoy people, and whatever I ultimately do, it has to be working with people. I'm not a loner. I'm a people person who enjoys alone time.
I know that's right. It's funny because we all share that same. I wonder what's going on. I hear some feedback. Do you hear it?
Yes.
Okay. I would say that we all share the same passion in helping people, because literally, like, if I'm not doing that, I feel like that's where I'm at a standstill. I don't know what I'm doing if I'm not helping people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's a level of fulfillment, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you really enjoy that, it brings you fulfillment. When you get that appreciation text that be like, "Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your care."
Goodness.
Like it's that's what it's about. None of us live on this earth alone, so we gotta live amongst each other amicably. And it's best if we can offer a piece of ourselves that can make life a little bit better for others.
That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. So listen, so what's your love language? There's 5. So what's your love language? It's so right. Let's talk about it. What's your love language, Bo?
So when I did the quiz, number 1 was acts of service.
Nice.
Acts of service, but it was quickly followed by quality time.
Yes.
It makes sense to me. But all 5 of them are like my shit. I can go.
Right.
I'm not really a gift receiver.
Yeah.
I'm more acts of service.
A gift giver.
Sure. Yeah, or even a gift receiver. I hate buying gifts, first of all. I'd rather do something thoughtful for you.
Yes, but, me too.
If my man walked in the house with a gift and I really could have appreciated him taking my car and cleaning it out and filling it up with gas.
Yes.
The gift is okay. I don't want to seem appreciative, but that's not my love language. So the way I receive love is when somebody performs acts of service for me.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel you. Want to take my car to the car wash to get that thing together, and they show them seats and stuff and vacuum out.
Oh my gosh, have the house clean when I come home from work, so I ain't got to do it. Cook dinner, just anything to lighten my load. Acts of service. What's yours?
I have a hard time with acts of service.
Okay.
Because I'm the one that does that for people. Like I'm the performer, like, and it's hard to receive that. And like I'm dating somebody that like he does that, like, and I'm like, this is kind of interesting because I'm not used to, people that do stuff for, like, I mean, do stuff for me, but like the service piece, like, you know, um, but my love language is words of affirmation. I
Okay.
like to be affirmed. And that's it has been like that since I was a little girl. So when I think back, I always like to get accolades or hear people saying, hey, great job or job well done, especially when I do well, and then I also take criticism well. So when somebody tells me, oh, this is not the best or whatever, it makes me want to do better, makes me want to go harder. You know what I mean? So like that type of thing, words of affirmation is definitely my love language.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can see
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. So I got to get used to the acts of service.
I mean, right, but they also have to know how Tammy receives love.
That's right.
Don't go doing what makes you feel good. You got to do what that person enjoys.
That's right.
And what they receive. So that's important for sure.
That's right. That's right. So the dating world, are you dating? Where are you in your life, relationship, or?
I think we have a poor connection.
It's getting a little glitchy.
I'm in between relationships.
Yeah.
I'm transitioning
Okay.
from one status to the next.
Okay.
It hasn't been the easiest transition because I'm a person who loves love. I love relationships. But I also believe that we have to allow people to be who they want to be. And even though I want somebody to be a certain person for me, I have to accept them being who they are and realize that at a certain point, people may no longer be compatible, and that's okay. And the beautiful thing about life is being able to experience people. And I am so thrilled and so honored to have experienced this specific person and spent so many years with them. And at the bottom of that is friendship. And that will always be my home. That will always be my dog. And I don't care.
Right.
I don't love him because of, I love him in spite of. Ooh. And for that reason, we will always be what we are. And as adult co-parents and amazing friends. And I had to be real with myself and say, this no longer serves me. And because I only get one of these things called life and it's not a rehearsal, I'm going to have to gracefully bow out and move on. And I wish you well. And I know you wish me well. And we got each other's back. It is what it is. That's
right.
Yeah.
So are you dating in the meantime? Like, or you like, nah,
I gave you this long answer.
So
I'm not.
You just in transition.
I'm understand. In transition. Yes, I'm in transition. But I am open to dating. And in the next 60 days, I'm open.
She's gonna be in Maryland. Come out here.
Get together. Line it up. Listen. Anybody who knows me know I will hit the road and go visit quick.
I know you will. You will because you was in the town. Yes, I was. Listen, next time you come, we gotta hang out, get some lunch, go out to eat or dinner or something. You know what I mean? Have a good time here in the DMV.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's funny because like I was in long-term relationships for a long time, since high school, girl. Since high school. Sorry for I don't know why my mic is kind of cutting up a little bit. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, but it's still cackling.
Okay. So yeah, so like I was in relationships for a long time and like I'm finally like allowing myself to date. I don't know what is happening. Okay, here we go. There we go. Is that better? I'm sorry.
No, I still hear it.
Okay, you still hear it?
The G.E.M been tearing it up. The mic like, damn, I can't keep
I know, like, what's my mic sounds nice, check one. The G.E.M been tearing it up. This mic is worn out. Okay. Like, hello. No, so like allowing myself to date, it's not easy because I'm so used to being in a relationship. You know what I mean? And so this time I didn't want to just jump into a relationship, but I actually wanted to date. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And I think we should allow ourselves that though, Tammy. On real, like you said, for like you and I went from I had a baby at 15. So I was with my daughter's father since 6th grade. We liked each
Mm-hmm.
other in 5th grade. Went right to my ex-boyfriend and right to my
Yeah.
husband. And then it's like now, like I really don't want to jump into another relationship. I
Yeah.
want to see what this single thing is
It's
like.
it's a beautiful thing, girl. But
Is
listen,
it?
it is. It is. I've been single for going. It's about to be 2 years. But like I'm dating. Like I'm. I kind of like just really exploring and dating people. But right now, kind of like dating really like one person. But we're not like in a relationship, so it's just dating.
Right.
It. But do you like the person? Do you start developing feelings for that person? Yes. And when the time is right, you could probably see yourself with that person. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And so it's like you allow them to have their time to heal and go through their process. You have your time. Like I said, I've been single going on 2 years, and I don't want to be single forever, but I also want to make sure that I'm choosing and he's choosing. Like we're both choosing each other at the same time. That it's not like, oh, I really like you. And then he's like, oh, but I'm not ready. And I don't like
Mhm.
rejection. So I will back
Mhm.
up from a person. Like I just recently was like, you know what? I'll back up from somebody in a heartbeat because I don't want to get my feelings hurt. You know what I mean? And so, or I'll just be like, you know what? I'm not going to date. I won't date. I'll be done with it in a heartbeat. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And just be like, nah. Cause this, like you said, we only get one life to live. And so at this point in our lives, the decisions we make from here, not to say that before it wasn't relevant, but the decisions that we make from here on out, we got to just
Mhm.
be, just a little bit more concise. Like we got to be like really on it,
Yeah.
you
But I
know?
love that you're freeing yourself to choose to
Yes.
either be or not to be and not
Right.
holding yourself stopped as hostage because you really like the person or they really like you or because feelings are developing or getting deeper. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, I didn't rush into anything. And I think that's super dope.
Yep.
I was recently at my cousin's engagement party and there was a lady who spoke and she was like, relationships will change, but they don't have to end. And
All
I was just
right.
like, that's super
Wow,
dope.
that's
And
good.
yeah, and to take that concept, into dating, like just because I met somebody and we dated and it doesn't work out, it doesn't
Mm.
mean I have to get rid of you. Like, I don't believe in just slamming the door, deleting numbers,
Right.
blocking people. Like, I feel like if people aren't fit for my life, the best thing I read and think on Instagram, it was a guy talking, giving a message. And he was like, you don't have to remove people from your life, just reposition them.
Oh,
And that's
wow.
where I'm
That's
at
good.
in life.
That's
Like,
good.
if you don't work in this particular space, then I can just move you here. You might not get as much attention, as much
Right
sunlight, as
over
much
there.
love, but I'm still accessible and in case you need. So
That's right. That's
yeah,
good. That's really good.
that
That's
is
really
good,
good.
right? You can't
Yes,
take credit.
girl.
I don't remember who said it, but it was super fly.
Listen, well, at least you take those gems. And speaking of gems, oh my God, this has never happened. Girl, this bike done had it today. They
Mm-hmm.
had it this time. So speaking of gems, um, what gems have people shared with you that stick with you, like that you apply to, like it's not your everyday life, but you apply it to things that you might go through, or like ways that you kind of deal and handle certain situations in life? What type of gems do you remember people sharing along the way, along your life's journey, that like really stood out to you?
So my grandmother is the biggest gem dropper. When I tell you she wore a crown and she dropped those jewels and I picked them all up. And some of my grandma isms was one, she said she's a very wise, kind lady. She's from the South. And she always say, never point the finger, because if you do, there's always one, two, three pointing back at you. Then you would
Mm,
self-reflect and see what you could be doing wrong before
wow.
you start saying what somebody else is doing wrong.
Hmm.
Um, and then one of my favorite that she always said was, you get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. So
Yes.
be kind, treat people nice, don't be bitter. You'll draw more people to you when
Mm.
you're sweet and you operate in a sincere manner. So those are like two of my favorite gems, and they come from one person, and that's my grandma.
Shout out to grandma. Yes, granny.
Yeah, my grandma.
So let's
Lovely
talk
lady.
about the gems you've been dropping. So you have a series of romance novels.
Hmm.
Let's get into that, girl. Like talk about your first one and how you dropped that and where the inspiration came from. And then let's just go through how many books you got out now?
7.5.
Dang, girl, I'm trying to get like you.
And the eighth that I'm working on, and it'll be done this year. I'm owing it to myself to finish
Oh
it.
my goodness, y'all hear this? Oh my goodness. So let's talk about each one and just give us a little bit.
Okay.
Because you want people, y'all gonna go on Amazon and find these books and Audible and stuff.
Y'all. And I'm gonna try to rebrand before the 8th one drop, because Tyrell showed me how you do a book launch, and I was like, see? I'm learning from y'all.
All right, Tyrell, shout out to our brother.
Facts. Just a kid from Arbor Hill. So
yes,
I'm just a kid from Arbor Hill too. So public speaking has never been my thing. Never been my thing. Like, I was afraid to do presentations in school. Like,
right.
And my favorite uncle passed away in 2007. And when he had a stroke, he couldn't talk. So the last few months of his life, he couldn't really communicate. You know, he would write it by paper. And that was hurtful to me, because I'm a person that don't shut up. Like, my grandma would tell me, you don't shut your mouth, be quiet, you know? And I was like, wow, I wonder what Uncle June would have said in his last days. And it played over and over in my mind and my heart. And I decided that I was going to pen this thing that was from the words and mind and heart of my Uncle June. And I was like, I'm going to read this at his funeral. And my girl said, don't get up there babbling and stuttering. She ain't like you remember fooling yourself. Yeah. So I wrote it down. I'm not the person to speak from the mind. I express myself better in writing. So I wrote it down, and it was so quiet in the church.
Wow.
And when I was done and looked up, it was literally a standing ovation. Like, literally a standing ovation. And I remember walking out the church, and this lady, Miss Laura, she came up to me and she was like, you're a writer? I was like, no, ma'am. She's like, you should write. I was like, really? She was like, your words. She was like, the way you strewn them together. She was like, you captivated this audience. And she's like, and you speak so eloquently. She was like, you should write. And I was like, okay. So I tried to write, Tammy, deadass. I tried to write. And it wasn't flowing. I was like, this is a dumb thing for me to attempt. It was just a suggestion. But then one day I remember sitting down watching the NBA game, and I was sitting there while I was like, I had this laptop. I said, let me open this laptop again. And I just started writing.
Wow.
And like, I started that, and I want to say in May. By the end of that year, I had like 4 books, like 4 complete manuscripts. So the first book, I titled The Way Love Is. And the main character is G.E.M. Lewis. And Cheyenne is me. She really is. If anybody read that book, they can pick up on pieces of Viola when I was that age.
Wow.
And you know, they say art imitates life. So I was able to draw from my experiences, situations I've been in. Like, there's a couple of scenes in that book that really happened, but with different characters and different, you know, different.
Girl, I can't wait. I'm pulling up the series, y'all. Getting the whole series.
Right. And it was just, I wrote that book, and then years later, because once you write, like, I don't know.
You get inspired.
Your audience are writers.
Yes. I write movies and stuff. Well, like scripts.
So okay, so I don't know if you get this, right? So
yes, I
after
do.
writing and you're editing and you're rereading and you're trying to catch everything, I was over the book. Like, I thought it was the stupidest book I've ever read, and I was like, I hate this book. But I still put it out there, and people loved it. It wasn't until maybe like 4 years later, I picked up the book again and read it as a reader. Removed myself as a writer, read it as a reader to appreciate the storyline, and I loved it.
Wow.
I loved it. I was super proud of myself.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I just continued. So it's a collection. I don't call it a series, because it's almost like you have to read one for the other, but it's a collection, and each book is a standalone story. But when you read them all, you see how the characters intertwine.
Oh, wow.
You can really appreciate where each of the characters are going and where they come from if you read the previous book or the book after. It's super dope.
What? Oh, girl, look, I want the whole series.
Yes. Let's do a book club.
We should, definitely. I love series. I like to see stories like, I mean, you know, we watch different series on TV, right? And the stories are just coming together. But I like to see it in a book, because it makes you like chase that author. It makes you be like, look, girl, you better hurry and come up with something else because you can't. Your anticipation is building up. So listen, the books. If you don't have them, y'all, go on Amazon or Audible. Where else can they find them?
Definitely Amazon. And then, like I said, I'm learning from Tyrell. I'm going to relaunch and I'm going to create these platforms, develop a website so that they can come to me.
Yes.
And I'll distribute them and do things like that.
And you ain't paying no fees, right?
Right.
Girl,
and just even just to brand myself. To brand myself.
And you know what? This just dropped in my spirit. You need to promote the whole series with the 8th book coming out. It's 7th or 8th book coming out.
8th book coming out.
Because 8 is new beginnings, right?
No,
or rebirth, right?
Okay.
So look it up. But with that, you need to bring out the whole series and this 8th book. Like, pray about it, because that's just what dropped in my spirit. You need to relaunch your whole entire series, girl, and sell the entire series as a bundle. Girl, talk about bank. Talk about bank.
Thank you for that gem.
That's a gem on the gem.
Thank you for that gem.
Yes.
I appreciate it. I receive it.
Yes. And so what's next for you? I mean, I know you got the podcast, you got your book. What else are you working on, or things that you kind of anticipate working on in the near future?
So the beautiful thing is, like I said, I have this seed of an idea that I'm watering mentally. Like I'm doing a little research. I'm asking questions. This is how I start off.
Right.
Actually launch something.
Which is good.
Yeah. So I'm just seeing if that's gonna work for me. I have so many ideas in my head, Tammy, but I'm not the one to speak on them until it.
Right. That's right. Because you could kill your own idea by putting it out too soon.
Yeah, seriously. My sister was like, at this point, just write a book about your ideas and sell them to other people, because you ain't put one of them into action. And I'm like, it's a process. For me, timing has always been right. I've never accomplished anything rushing into it. So I follow my own path and not the path that other people expect me to do. And I'm more successful that way.
That's right.
So like I said, I have these little ideas, but I'm in transition. I'm just in a transition right now in my life.
That's
and
good.
There's so many different things coming down my path in terms of my love life, my career life, and I'm just gonna continue to walk this path that God set for me and watch Him open the door.
That's right, girl. That's right. Listen, I am super duper proud of you, and if I did not say this enough today on the gym, I truly appreciate you. Like, I mean, if people are not, I don't know what is going on here. If people are not following you on social media, how can they follow you on social media?
Oh, social media. Like,
because you didn't even know I was following you.
I didn't. Well, first, right. I didn't. I'm sorry, God. First of all,
no, it's okay. Because you.
And I don't mean to be offensive, because I know that is like a moneymaker for a lot of people. People live and die on social media.
I know.
I don't enjoy it. So the only platform I have is clandestine Twitter account that I only follow like 50 people. So don't even bother looking for me there. Right. And Instagram, Sentimentally Speaking there. And I got to get my life together. I'm not a social media
person. Your YouTube channel.
Well, oh yeah, that's true. I think of YouTube as TV.
Yes, I know.
But yes, it is a huge social media platform. So yeah, YouTube and Instagram, Sentimentally Speaking, that's where you can find me.
Absolutely. And how can they get the books again? On Amazon?
On Amazon, yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so any last gems you want to drop for our viewers? Like anything that, definitely, like I said, definitely check out the podcast, Sentimentally Speaking, the whole series of books. Follow her on social media at Sentimentally Speaking. But then any last minute gems, to give people so that they can, tap into who they are.
First of all, I just want to show appreciation, right? Show grace and gratitude, because I feel like money, people, all of those are great commodities, but the most important one is time. And I don't take people's time for granted. And the fact that you decided to share some of your time with me and you deem me worthy and valuable enough to be your guest, I'm really grateful for that. And for your supporters and people who watch, thank you for tuning in, because y'all literally could have been anywhere in the world, either physically, mentally, emotionally, but y'all chose to tune into the gym and watch this episode with me and my girl Tammy. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in and joining us. And if there was anything I said that you could walk away from that will bring value or joy to your life, I am happy to be able to share that. And I just want to say, I wish everybody well. Life is short. Enjoy, have fun. Don't be miserable. If it means walking away from something and entering the unknown, do it. Because I once watched the movie and they said, if you're afraid to die, then you shouldn't be afraid to live.
Wow. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, listen, thank you so much again for gracing us with your presence today on the G.E.M. Viola Lewis, y'all, Sentimentally Speaking. All the books, y'all, they on Amazon. Check her out. Follow her, like, subscribe, hit the notification button.
Thank you.
I love you, boo. Thank you for being on. All right. God bless.
Take care, you too.
Good
Bye.
night, honey.